Hey friends, hope all is well. This is Joshua Stevens, loan officer with Community Mortgage. I'm really excited to be back and doing another one of these. If you've been following along with our moving videos, we've been moved in, we've been settled, and I'm thrilled that we've got Ceci's office set up. I think I'm gonna do my videos in here. It just feels a little more comfortable. I'm talking fast because we got a lot to get to. Let's get nerdy. Interest rates are real high. Y'all take care. Have a good one. That is kind of it, but we'll get a little more in depth and look at some of the factors behind that, where things are going, and what are the best things we can do from here. When I went to work on some pre-quals yesterday morning, I was astonished to see that we were really looking at 7%. My prediction was we would start to see the 7s by the end of the year, but we've still got quite a bit of year left. I talked to several people yesterday who've been in the industry for a very long time, and some have said that they wouldn't be shocked to see if rates go up to 10. So there are a lot of things going on in the world right now that are contributing to or compounding the increased rates, right? But in all the things I have read and looked into, it is my most humble opinion that what we are looking at is really a age-old, well-known economic policy coming into play and just cause and effect. So what we know from long-standing economic understanding, the Federal Reserve, they have raised rates and they ain't sorry about it, and they ain't going to pull back from it. Rates go up, the bond prices go down, then yields go up. That yield is all important in determining and helping determine mortgage rates. Reason being, investors see this. Let's assume we're talking about a government bond here, right? They say, hey, they're going to give me 4% backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Like, this is a really safe 4%. So mortgage bonds, you got to give me something better than 4. As we look at buying houses, as we look at selling our houses, there comes a balance. Right? And the balance is ultimately dependent upon this one thing. You can only sell anything for what somebody's willing to pay you for it. That don't matter if it's shoes, if it's apples, if it's a cat. So that being said, you can only sell something for what somebody's willing to give you. Well, we may be coming to a new place in the equilibrium on the housing market of what somebody is willing to give somebody for something, what a buyer is willing to pay a seller, and then what the seller is realistically going to have to take. It's really hard to disagree with some of the things that Conor Sen was saying in an article a couple weeks ago. The article was titled or something to the effect of "Homebuyers Might as Well Take the Plunge." Link in the description below. So some of the things that Conor said in that I think is just true. The horizon doesn't necessarily look any better. So by waiting, you may just kind of end up worse off from waiting even still. He says, so let's say that you're a buyer out there and you're waiting on interest rates to fall. Well, okay, great. So you're waiting on interest rates to fall. Well, there's still not a whole lot of availability in the market, right? There's not a lot of inventory. So then the issue you run into is that even if rates do fall, well, then you're looking at bidding issues again, looking at bidding war problems, right? Because there's just not a lot to pick from. It's an interesting thought to have that in some ways now could be better in some ways than recent things we've had, because there's just less competition out there, right? So you can as a buyer, hopefully dictate some more terms. Where buyers may have some particular wiggle room is things are just going to be more negotiable now. You know, you could get a lower sales price. You could get a seller to contribute some closing costs, stuff like that. Whereas previously they weren't going to do that because they really had the upper hand. Now everybody's very well aware circumstances have changed. It's not the same thing we were in. 2 things I would leave you with, based on the thoughts of Conor Sen article here, that I think he's spot on, is that really the best move from here, you may find yourself in the most favorable situation, is if you could get in with a property, if you buy it for a little less, right? If you could get one kind of on the down swoop, right? So you've bought it for less than it was going for, right? So you've done good on the purchase price, and then you just hope that interest rates come down in the future and you can refinance later. And then you've got both something on the downswing of the purchase price, on the purchase price side rather, and then when interest rates come down, Lord willing, they do ever come down, you can refinance at a much lower rate, hopefully much lower rate, and just kind of be winning from all angles. The last thing I'll leave you with is that we may not be in a bad spot yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the scheme of things, we may just not be bad off yet. And so ultimately, what we're getting at here is if you are a buyer out there, I would just tell you, don't be completely discouraged, and don't let all these things going on in the market scare you out of looking, because this just may be the new normal. Rates couldn't stay as low as they were for as long as they were. It was never going to happen. This may just be things coming to a new equilibrium. So friends, all this nerdy stuff, hopefully it's helpful to you and helps you navigate your buying and selling extravaganzas. If I can ever be of assistance to you, feel free to reach out anytime. Take care. Have a good one.